Sydney, the oldest, biggest, and most beautiful of all Australian cities, lies amid a seductive intermingling of land and sea. Glide along the glittering harbour on a ferry, see the white sails of the Opera House gleaming in the sunshine, admire the graceful arch of the Harbour Bridge, and you'll see why this is one of the world's top cities. It's hard to imagine this vibrant state capital of New South Wales was once a convict colony. In 1788, it was at Sydney Cove where Captain Arthur Phillip, commander of the First Fleet, established the first British colony in Australia. Today, you can explore Sydney's fabled history in the narrow, cobbled laneways and historic buildings of the Rocks, and learn about the Gadigal Aboriginal people, the traditional custodians of this land, on guided tours and at the city's excellent museums. Sydney still fizzes with the adventurous spirit of its settlers. Climb the Harbour Bridge, surf the green barrel breaks at Sydney's golden beaches, or fly over the city on a scenic tour, and the adventures don't end in the city. Wildlife-rich wilderness areas surround the city, providing appealing day trip possibilities. Discover all the best places to visit in this famous harbour city with our list of the top things to do in Sydney, Australia. Number 1. Sydney Opera House. The Sydney Opera House, a famous tourist spot in Sydney, is a performing arts centre situated in Bennelong Point. Symbolic of the city, it is a must-visit for people who have a taste for great architecture and design. Considered to be one of the masterpieces of world architecture, it stands out beautifully with its sail-shaped rooftop, attracting tourists worldwide. With almost 40 shows a week, visitors can plan a day of artistic experience combined with lip-smacking dishes and great drinks from the various eateries and bars in the area. Number 2. Darling Harbour. One of the most popular places to visit in Sydney, Darling Harbour ensures its crowd by offering wonderful experiences from exciting water sports to dazzling fireworks. In addition, the harbour is famous for its fantastic collection of restaurants, a string of shopping centres where one can shop to their heart's content, and explore an assortment of experiences such as exploring the National Maritime Museum, Sydney Aquarium and Zoo, Chinese Garden of Friendship, and more. Number 3. Sydney Harbour Bridge. The Sydney Harbour Bridge is an iconic landmark of the city that connects the North Shore Sydney with the CBD. Built in 1932, the combination of the bridge, the Sydney Harbour, and the Sydney Opera House has become the most popular portrait of Sydney. It is the tallest steel arch bridge in the world. Number 4. Botanic Garden Sydney. Need a break from the hustle and bustle of the city? Chill out at the Royal Botanic Garden Sydney in Farm Cove. A visit to this tranquil oasis is one of the many relaxing things to do in the city for free, especially if you're in need of a nature fix, and it's only a short stroll from the Sydney Opera House. Established in 1816, the gardens are Australia's oldest botanic garden. They encompass 30 hectares of themed gardens with towering trees, palm groves, orchids, ferns, succulents, tropical gardens, rainforest plants, herbs, and oriental gardens. Garden lovers will be in heaven. The Palace Rose Garden blushes with around 1,800 roses. The Glasshouse Latitude 23 and Fernery brims with tropical foliage, begonias and orchids. And the Cadi Jam Aura, First Encounters Garden, tells the story of the Gadigal people, the land's traditional custodians, and explores the relationship between people and plants. Number 5. Queen Victoria Building. Is shopping high on your agenda? Head to the Romanesque-style Queen Victoria Building, QVB. Even if you're not planning to buy anything, it's worth a visit just to admire this beautifully restored building and its colorful stained glass windows and mosaic floors. A high central dome surrounded by 20 smaller domes crowns this elegant building, which was originally built as a market hall between 1893 and 1898. After decades of neglect and even plans for demolition, this grand sandstone building was restored to its original state in the early 1980s. Number 6. Sydney Tower Eye. Soaring above the city skyline, the 309-metre-high Sydney Tower Eye is the city's tallest building and one of its great landmarks, other than the Opera House and Harbour Bridge, of course. This golden spire-top turret rises from the busy Central Point shopping mall. Zooming up the Sydney Tower Eye is one of the popular things to do in the Sydney CBD for tourists. Express lifts whisk visitors to the observation deck at the top, or to Skywalk, an alfresco glass floor viewing platform, the perfect spot for sightseeing. While you're up here, you can enjoy panoramic views of Sydney and its surrounding suburbs, or enjoy a bite to eat at one of the revolving restaurants or the cafe. Number 7. Hyde Park. Named after Hyde Park in London, Sydney's Hyde Park is Australia's oldest park. It's a peaceful sanctuary in the heart of the city and a lovely spot for a picnic. Sprawling lawns, shady picnic spots, flowers, fountains, and fig trees provide a welcome escape, and the park offers prime people watching, especially at lunch when city workers come here to kick off their shoes. Several monuments and memorials punctuate this popular 16-hectare green space. The park's bronze Archibald Fountain, 1932, commemorates Australia's alliance with France during World War I, and the Art Deco Anzac War Memorial, 1934, in the southern half of the park, honors its victims. Number 8. Chinatown. Inhale the fragrance of sizzling Szechuan spices, shop for Chinese specialty items, or feast on authentic Asian cuisine at Sydney's Chinatown. Framed by lion gates at each end, this small district lies in the pedestrian zone of Dixon Street, between Darling Harbour and Central Station. Yum cha is a popular pastime here, and the Friday night market is a feast for the senses, with everything from dim sum and Vietnamese pho to teppanyaki. On the first full moon after January 21, the streets of Chinatown come alive during the celebration of the Chinese New Year. Number 9. King's Cross. About 2 kilometres east of the CBD, King's Cross is Sydney's multifaceted red light district and the city's nightlife hub. If you're interested in experiencing an edgier part of the city, this is a great place to visit. You can also catch a play at one of the theaters. Called the Cross by locals, it has an intriguing, bohemian past. The area was an artistic quarter around 1920, until it evolved into a popular haunt for beatniks during the 1950s and later, hippies. During the Vietnam War, the area started its slow slide to depravity when large numbers of American troops came here on rest and recreation leave. You can find out more about the area's spacey history on a guided walking tour. Despite the area's less than savory reputation at night, it wears a different face during the day. Backpackers from the many hostels in the area huddle at hip cafes. Boutique hotels shelter fashionistas, and foodies come here to dine at the trendy restaurants. To find King's Cross, look for the large Coca-Cola billboard at the intersection of William Street and Darlinghurst Road. It's a famous Sydney landmark and is often referred to as the gateway to the Cross. Number 10. Sydney Harbour Bridge. Nicknamed the Coathanger, the Sydney Harbour Bridge is another Sydney icon. Supported by massive double piers at each end, it was built in 1932 and remains the world's largest steel arch bridge. You can drive over it, cruise below it, chug over it on a train, or photograph it from afar. But one of the best ways to appreciate this marvel of engineering and soak up the spectacular views of Sydney Harbour is on a climb to its 135-metre high summit. Scaling the bridge is one of Australia's top outdoor adventures, and you can choose from a range of different tours. Sydney Bridge Climb takes groups on an approximately 3.5-hour climb to the top of the outer arch. Tours run throughout the day, beginning with a dawn climb and ending with a night climb. You can also choose from different types of climbs, including an Indigenous storytelling experience and a climb right across the arch to the other side. The bridge connects the harbour's north and south shores. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share.